Rationality.
He believed in a universe ordered by an ultimate rationality.
Tout.
But the device was touted as being able to measure the wearer's heart rate.
Stubborn. I'm sorry I was so stubborn.
Outrage.
How dare you, said Ron in mock outrage.
Intrigue.
This Mr. Sherlock Holmes intrigues me.
Connote.
The term organization often connotes a sense of neatness.
Persistent.
In a salesperson, being persistent is important.
Secede.
The South was ready to secede, leave, and break up the Union of States.
Disquiet.
There's a lot of division in Ireland about this, a lot of disquiet and discomfort.
Bode.
Seeing Samu growing up so strong and independent bodes well for his future.
Folkway.
Folkways are the informal little rules that kind of go without saying.
Console.
Her husband's dead. I was consoling her. We're friends.
Overrun.
In recent years, the cemetery has been overrun by weeds.
Turmoil.
That was only going to lead to war, turmoil, and poverty.
Amenable.
No. I'll do it. It'll be more amenable if it comes from a friend.
Interrelate.
By doing so, their children gain an overall knowledge of the operations of the business and how the various departments interrelate.
Nude.
So, for our next class, we're not going to have nude models.
Redundant.
Those shields are redundant! This bullet will find you!
Inverse.
Radiant intensity is the inverse square of distance.
Revive.
The fresh air revives me, Fairfax.
Insulin.
Type 1 diabetes have to use insulin injections.
Explore.
Let's explore the universe.
Cart.
We thought someone had stolen the horse and cart.
Pertinent. Her work is pertinent to today's proceedings. Mercy.
After all, mercy is a virtue.
Rebellious.
I was very rebellious when I was this age.
Barrel.
Longy's brother is making a barrel used to store the fish.
Transition.
It's an uncertain future for a city and an industry in transition.
Lyric.
A beautiful view and beautiful lyrics.
Adorn. Religious patterns and symbols adorn the walls.
Questionnaire.
She also had him fill in a questionnaire about their eating habits.
Minority.
Creative people are a distinct minority.
Entitle.
Everyone's entitled to a little bit of privacy.
Renew.
Well, I have to renew my passport.
Consistent.
Small things matter in cooking, he says, and the robot is very consistent.
Quotation.
A quotation from the Bible came to my lips, but I held my tongue.
So-called.
I was forced to do all of it by your so-called friends.
Magnitude.
Forces of that magnitude can destroy anything that people can build.
Rectangle.
Now let me ask you a simple question. What is the area of the rectangle?
Telescope.
For the present, we must use telescopes to explore the stars.
Lightning.
Lightning is a large electric flash of light.
Utensil.
It's not much uphill work for a foreigner to get used to Chinese dinner utensils.
Kennel.
Also, when you go on vacation, you may actually take your dog to a kennel.
Liquid.
He put the glass to his lips and drank the liquid.
Remark. Mr. Kerry made the remarks on U.S. television on Sunday.
Principal.
And this became his principal source of income.
Hide.
Marilla turned away to hide her smiling face.
Spoil.
His whole life was spoiled by that incident.
Internship.
I love my job. My temporary unpaid internship that will hopefully lead to a fully realized life.
Polish.
I'm just polishing the silver.
Starch.
Lotus root is rich in starch.
Assimilation.
The Incas were usually satisfied to rule by proxy and gradual assimilation.
Detest.
This guy detests me. She thinks I'm a monster.
Gigantic.
Close to his body was a gigantic paw print.
Convention.
The convention is to bring an upset person a hot beverage.
Diagonal.
Almost all the stars fell into a central diagonal line, known as the main sequence.
Absenteeism.
Where to begin? With your constant absenteeism?
Bacon.
Do you like bacon?
Silversmith.
Fabergé was also a silversmith and created the Russian crown jewels.
Cell.
Of course, your blood is full of red blood cells.
Digression.
John Rance appeared to be somewhat irritated at this digression.
Stake.
I'm prepared to offer you 50% of my stake in the company.
Pesticide.
If you don't clean the fruit, you are basically eating all the pesticides.
Conflict.
Look, money is a huge source of conflict in any marriage.
Accumulate.
Couples accumulate lovely things. Things that make a house a home.
Eternal.
May God lead you into the eternal life.
Sting.
I hope the wasp doesn't sting, Daddy.
Extinct.
Tigers could go extinct over the next 1 or 2 decades.
Respond.
She's not responding to my text.
Sunset.
Just at sunset, the air turned cold and the sky cloudy.
Expertise.
I'm happy to. After all, finance is my field of expertise.
Blend.
So just blend all the ingredients together so it goes into the flour.
Fungus.
That's because mold is a fungus, like mushrooms.
Elasticity.
And based on the elasticity of the epidermis, she couldn't have been over 30.
Moisture.
All deserts are characterized by a lack of moisture.
Gravity.
Gravity is what keeps us on the ground.
Stout.
A man of near 60 years, he'd grown too stout to sit a horse.
Ascent.
With the crew's ascent, I ask for time to find a more suitable beach.
Bizarre.
Fire coming out of ice is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
Conceit.
Her conceit about her beauty angered many people.
Husbandry.
Animal husbandry is the science of breeding livestock.
Abysmal.
Her grades are abysmal.
Scorn.
Well, don't cry, said Catherine with scorn.
Tranquil.
I am relaxed and tranquil, and I like to live in peace.
Swoop.
He swoops over the beach.
Punch.
Oh, she punched me in the face!
Mingle.
And in all lands love is now mingled with grief.
Interim.
Perhaps we should elect an interim leader?
Laudable.
All of these, Mr. Grunwald thinks, are laudable aims.
Incur.
You have incurred his extreme displeasure.
Pretext.
Tell him if he can use saving American lives as a pretext for force, so can I.
Replica.
The X-Wing replica is made mostly of wood and doesn't actually fly.
Siege.
After 6 months of siege, Rouen surrendered.
Lunge.
The man lunged at her, reaching for her throat.
Basement.
But I'm living in my mother's basement.
Crude.
In the early days, our attempts were pretty crude.
Jibe.
He never spoke of the softer passions, save with a jibe and a sneer.
Community.
The Irish community in the United States is very big.
Speckle.
Puck is the one with all the speckles.
Beaver.
The beaver is found chiefly in North America.